guys, welcome to Life and Beauty Skills with Alicia. So today's topic, we're going to be discussing exercise and in particular group exercise classes. Today's guest, I have Dani Van Sale with me, and she's been a fitness coach for over 4 years. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, Dani. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So when I was in high school, I was very overweight. I didn't know much about fitness and training. I was always sporty and competitive, but I never really worried about how I looked and what I ate. And when you leave high school, I think it's a very common thing where people gain weight because now they're not moving as much and you're getting a bit older and you're becoming a lot more conscious of how you look because now you enter the adult world. And so I went on a gap year, gained some more weight, and when I came back and started studying, I was like, I went to this boot camp run by some amazing people at the time. This was many years ago, and I just continuously went and carried on going and slowly started losing weight. And I was like, I like this feeling. I like how I feel about myself. And I then I just never stopped, and I just continued doing training and fit camps and all types of sports, and it's just led me here where I just want to help other people with the knowledge that I have. So I'm very passionate about exercise and nutrition and helping people get results in a very sustainable lifestyle way. So that's
Perfect.
me.
Being the best version of themselves, I suppose.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. So Dani, how often should one exercise for, and for how long?
There isn't a set amount of time, but from what my training has told me, that if someone is a beginner, they should start roughly on 3 times a week because the body takes a while to adjust, especially when you're doing resistance training or even body weight training. I like to start a beginner with body weight, build up their form, build up their confidence in certain movements, and then slowly add weights to that because then they're comfortable in the movement itself. Because when you add weights, something naturally becomes harder. So I would say for a beginner, 3 times a week would be a good start to see good results. But if you could only do an intense session twice a week, I would say get a good walk or a jog in between. Walking is great. Aiming for those 10,000 steps a day is amazing. And I promise you just slowly start seeing results until you start feeling more confident and you want to do more sessions a week. I would say a minimum for any person is 3 times a week. But someone like me trains to about 5, 6, sometimes 7 times a week, just depending on how I feel. And it'll be a different muscles I'm working, maybe a bit of cardio, maybe with the group training I join in. So it can vary from person to person. And I always say, what makes you feel good? If doing 2 to 3 sessions a week feels good to you, then that's fine. That's a really good start. If you're doing 6 sessions a week, I would say that's a bit hectic for a beginner, but you want to build yourself up to that where you're at least moving half an hour to an hour a day, just in general. So I wouldn't say it's a set amount. I would say it varies from person to person, but if you're thinking beginner, I would say 2 to 3 times a week. It's a good amount.
What are the benefits of exercising?
So there's an array of benefits, and I think it depends on the person's health and where they start from, right? So let's take someone who's slightly overweight, maybe struggling with a bit of fat around the organs. I know this is going a little bit scientific, but I do believe that apart from the basic sort of outcomes that you get, like a bit of weight loss and feeling good and getting some toning and all of that stuff, but I think the overarching thing that when I think about exercise and what you get from exercise is heart health. I ask so many people, why do you exercise? And they're like, you know what? Just to see my 50s, just to see my 60s or my 70s. I want to know that I'm going to be in good health, in good shape, and see my life through comfortably, where I'm not uncomfortable and not able to do things and my health is compromised. So I think that for me is the overarching benefit to exercise. And I don't care about if people want to argue and say but all I want to do is be thin, or all I want is a nice bum or nice abs. That shouldn't never be the goal. The goal should to feel good, to be healthy, and to be able to move with your kids, with yourself, with friends, and be able to not have to think about I can't keep up, or I don't want to exercise, or I don't want to do this because I feel overweight,
The quality of life, improving that.
So I think that for me is the overarching reason and benefit to exercise.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for that. Should one incorporate weights into a workout routine, and how heavy should they be?
So I'm a weight junkie. I love weights. And so if you want to come back to like the benefits of training, with progressive overload, you need progressive overload, which means you're going to increase weight when you're training. So when you're doing a squat, when you're doing lunges, when you're doing anything that's with weights, you slowly build muscle, because muscle builds from progressive overload. So basically what you do is you break the muscle down, it then rebuilds itself. And so what happens is you have to keep going a little bit heavier each time, or a few more reps, or make the exercise harder in order for that muscle to keep growing. So I love weights. I feel like they can be incorporated in any sort of workout, and no one should be walking on a treadmill for an hour. I think that cardio itself is a tool when you want to lose some fat, but everyone should be aiming to build muscle, because when you get older, let's say you're in your late 60s or 70s and you feel like you can't even get up off the floor, or you can't even do a sit-up or get out of bed. Why? Because your muscle has deteriorated to the point where you can't even lift your own body. And so if from a younger age we're building muscle and we're toning up and we're maintaining a good muscle amount or rate, you want to call it, percentage, then what happens is the older you get, the more muscle you end up with, and then you're able to move better, get up off the bed or off the floor. And I just feel like there's no right amount or weight that someone has to use. I feel like it literally depends on how long you've been training, what have your goals been, when did you start weight training, but they can always be incorporated. And body weight is a weight itself. So when you're doing body weight exercise, like a squat, you're holding up your own weight. You're going up and down, and that is, you are doing weight training.
Oh.
So when people are doing body weight, it's hard. It's really hard. And that's why I start people on body weight first, and then go into weight training, and then slowly, do little weights and then bigger weights and slowly increase them. But there has to be a goal in mind when you're doing weight training, because if everyone just goes to the gym and just does whatever with weights, then might not ever see the results that they want, because they're actually not slowly making it harder and increasing the weight or making their exercises more complex. So I can go into the whole science of it, but I won't do that. So yes, I feel like weights are such a great tool, and it doesn't have to be heavy, especially for a beginner. You can incorporate 3 kilos, 2 kilos, 5 kilo, and it'll make all the difference to your workout. So when you feel the body weight exercises are getting too easy, like you have to do 25 reps, incorporate a 5 kilo weight into the workout. And you'll see such a big difference, really.
That's interesting to know.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. How does one stay motivated?
Oh, don't we all wish we could stay and be motivated all the time? Listen, motivation is not always there. This is where self-discipline, drive, hard work comes into play. I feel like this question has been asked to so many fitness influencers, and because I follow a lot of people on social media, this question gets asked all the time. Motivation lasts for a very short period, and after that, daily habits should just kick in, right? I get my ass to the gym every single day simply because it's a daily habit. I love it. It's not like that for everybody. But again, coming back to that heart health, that bone health, that joint health, and that organ health, exercise is what's going to help you with that. And I think that to want to have a longer life with nutrition, with good amount of training, that should be motivation enough. You know what I'm saying? You should, you drop your kids at school every day, you go to work every day. And I feel like training should be like that. It's not always going to be your top priority. Even if you're getting on a 20-minute walk or a 30-minute walk a day, I don't care. As long as you're moving the body, especially if your job is stationary, it's so important. And I think the motivation should never just be to want to look good. It should also be about health, heart health, bone health, all of that overall life.
Yeah. That makes sense.
What characteristics should a good coach have?
So I've watched so many shows and seen so many coaches, and I think the overarching thing, the overarching characteristic a good coach should have, is to have some empathy. Understand your client's needs, understand their lifestyle, because it's not the same as yours. Not everyone loves fitness and nutrition and training every day the way I do, and I think sometimes as coaches we forget that because we love it so much. But I think it's about okay, having empathy for the client or having empathy for your clients and understanding that what they need is completely different to what you need. And that's where I emphasize sustainability. So when someone comes to me and asks me for a diet plan or whatever, it's not going to be your conventional thing that you want to see or think is going to be on there. I'm going to ask you, what kinds of foods do you eat? And then how can we incorporate that and keep those meals and those foods in your diet, but still achieve your results, right? So I think empathy is so important. Like, understand your client, understand their lifestyle, their needs, the fact that they have kids, that you don't have kids, all these things, right? And empathy, and I think just, what's the word, like where you educate yourself, you keep on top of your game. Like, I think that things are constantly changing and that we also have to educate ourselves to be better coaches and then educate our clients and the people that we come into contact with. Because if I meet someone who still thinks that like detox tea is going to help them lose weight, like, I need to know better. I need to know in myself that that is not what I believe in. And I think I've educated myself and I know that those things are not going to work. And then I need to impart that knowledge onto you and tell you why they're not going to work. And so building up a good relationship with your clients, and yeah, there's so many characteristics, but I do think empathy is one of them. And I think a lot of people who maybe have been blessed and born with genetics and they have never had to worry about an ounce of fat on their body, they do sometimes struggle with empathy. And that's, I think, where you have like these generational coaches, the coaches like trainers and stuff from back then, like what diets they used to give people just to like lose weight, you know. And my generation, they believe in more, I wouldn't say like everyone, but like flexible dieting and sustainable living and finding a lifestyle which works for you. And it's such a common saying, but I think it's so important to always educate yourself and upskill yourself and then impart that knowledge onto your clients. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. As a coach, how do you actually design your workouts?
So there isn't always just like a set way of designing a workout, or especially for a group of people. What's nice is that I need to be conscious of that. In my group, there's going to be advanced people, there's going to be beginners, and there's going to be like your middle people. And how can I design this workout that my beginners feel that they can achieve this, and that it's still challenging for my advanced people? And I think what I like to do is that I like to have weeks where I focus on lower body, weeks where I focus on upper body, and then weeks where I have like dual movements, which is like 2 movements at once, which is very challenging. And so I think when you focus on like a certain part of your body, number one, my clients feel that they're working those muscles and they are like, they get pumped and they feel like they're seeing results. Whereas sometimes when we focus so much on like legs and up and lower body, we forget the upper body. And when I ask my clients to do a push-up, they can't. So I love doing that, because then people who then can't make it every evening, they get a taste of the upper body session that we did on a Monday. And so it just makes everyone feel like they're in the loop, that they know what they're achieving, what the goal is. And the goal is, okay, this week it's upper body, this week it's lower body, and then like dual movements where we do upper body and lower body together. And yeah, I just think I will take body weight movements mixed with some weights. Obviously we limit it with weights because we're on a field and with the group workouts or in like a indoor space, and I don't have all my equipment with me. But I think that the ladies at the moment, the groups that I have, they find my workouts very challenging. I also incorporate like a CrossFit style training and boot camp style into my sessions, and it's things that you ladies and all the people that I've worked with haven't necessarily seen. So that's very different. So it's versatile, it's different, you can take the simplest movements and you can make them really hard. So I think that's what's cool, is that my beginners can do it, my advanced people are challenged, and everyone kind of wins at the end of the session. But there's always a goal. The goal is we're going to have a lower body focus week, an upper body focus week, and then dual movements, and then rotate it. And then we will run challenges in between as well. So it's not that complicated.
And I think what the main thing that I always feel at your classes is we have fun.
Yes.
It's not like yes, we're working hard, but the overall feeling of the class is fun to me.
Yes.
So,
and I'm glad, and that's what I want. And I always say to people, I don't want people to dread coming to a session because they're going to do like suicide runs or something, you know, like that's not really fun. That's not fun to me.
No.
So, and if that's something that you like, then you can come to me and say, listen, I want to do suicide runs, and I'll incorporate them. But it's not necessarily fun to me to watch you guys, you know, run for like 20 minutes up and down, you know. And then that's also, you might feel quite nice afterwards, but do you want to come back tomorrow and do that again? Not really. No. So, you know, that's kind of my thinking, is that like those old school, just boring run, squat, do like just the basic movements over and over again. That's boring. That's where it comes in, like educate yourself, upskill yourself, become more comfortable with complex movements and challenging your clients to do these things, because you want them to learn these. It's a skill as well, to be able to do a squat, to be able to do a lunge. That's a skill that if for whatever reason you guys leave me and you go somewhere else or you get a different trainer, that I want you to know how to do them, you know, and do them well.
Do them properly.
Yes.
Okay. And what would the benefits be of doing a group class as opposed to working out by yourself?
I think, again, coming back to the question, how many times a week, it's the same. It just depends on the person and what they prefer. I'm someone, I love to train on my own. I think when I started out in a group setting. And what was great about that was that it was like this accountability factor. There was people that I knew I was going to see and chat to and catch up with. And it just was like a family feeling that I really, really had. And I think especially as beginners, like the focus is not just on you in that session. And I think it can be very daunting when there's a personal trainer standing over you, telling you what to do. And especially in a gym, and then you feel like everyone else is looking at you at the same time. So I think there's benefits to both. I'm just someone who prefers training on my own simply because I do a lot of weight training, and that varies from day to day. But I think what's amazing about group training, it's just that support system that you have. It can either be really great or it can be quite toxic, if I'm being honest. Like if you find yourself in the wrong group with the wrong kinds of people, it can literally turn you off exercise like that. But my reminder to anybody who experiences something like that is just find another family or just find another way of training that works for you. So again, there's benefits to both. I think that there's great strength that you get from training on your own if you're pushing yourself. But I also think that for many people who struggle just to exercise to get to a session, when they get there, they push themselves harder because there is that slight competitiveness with themselves and with the people around them.
True.
And it's friendly, and I think also the coach creates the atmosphere that the group then carries through the session. So I think that's important as well. So again, to answer your question, it depends on the person and there's benefits to both. And I would say a good mix of both is always healthy. Because if, let's say, something happens with the group training, and then you need to train on your own, you have to have the self-discipline to do it. Yeah, otherwise you're always just going to feel like you can never do it on your own. And that for me is what I love to build people. I want them to believe that they can do it with the group and on their own.
That makes sense. I like the social aspect of it, of course. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me, Dani. This has really been so informative, and I hope this helps other people out there who are maybe not too sure about joining a group class or how to start exercising. That really, you have provided us with a lot of information, so thank you for that. And lastly, if anyone would like more information, how would they contact you?
So on Facebook, we are Sweat.Smile Noordhoek FitCamp. There's also one that's run in Pinelands, the same Sweat.Smile Pinelands FitCamp. It's the same handle for our Instagram. So just type in Sweat.Smile, and then whatever area you're in, you can contact. This will be the same person that you contact, Ashley De Beer. She runs it. She started it. It's her company. I'm just the coach at the Noordhoek branch.
And Dani, how do they contact you? What's your Instagram handle?
So my Instagram handle is Dani Claudie Fitness SA. There's a lot of knowledge and information on there. It's free. You can go check it out. There's meal plans and how to lose weight sustainably, if that's your goal. But Alicia will add it at the end. I'm pretty sure that's the handle, but you'll add it in at the end.
I will definitely add that in for you guys. All right, thanks so much for watching the video. If you would like to have a free class with the Sweat.Smile team, feel free to contact them on Facebook or Instagram, and then just reference Life and Beauty Skills with Alicia, and then they will book you your first class free.
Yeah.
If there's any other questions that you'd like me to ask Dani, feel free to comment below, and we can always set up another video with her. And then just go ahead and like and share this video if you found it helpful. Thanks, guys. Thank
Cheers,
you, Dani.
guys.
Bye.